Hello, hi. Hello. Is there anyone online? If you're online, say hi. So, good evening, everyone. Depending on the time that you're watching from, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. This is Coach Gabby, and today we are going to be talking about an interesting topic. But if you can hear me, kindly let me know. You can just comment just for me to know that you can hear me. All right. So we are talking about an interesting topic today, which has to do with relocating to the USA via visa study. But this topic is different from the normal one you are used to, because today we are talking about how to get a PhD scholarship even if you don't have a master's degree. A lot of people don't know about this because they believe in the norms that after BSc, then you do masters before you now proceed to do PhD. That's been things that that's been something that everybody knows. That has been the norms. That is what everybody is used to. But lately I've been getting this information from people that you can actually get PhD scholarship without doing masters. When I first got the information, I also doubted is that this is not possible. That how can somebody get a PhD scholarship without doing masters? Okay. So I decided to do my research, and I started seeing people that actually got this scholarship without doing master's degree. So different people started sharing their stories and all that. But I don't like to just believe in what I see on social media. So I like to get legit information before pushing it out there. So I came across two of my friends who actually landed a PhD scholarship before get landed a PhD scholarship without having a master's degree. So, and when I asked about how they did this, they explained, and I saw the admission and everything. I was like, okay, let me just bring these people on board so that they can share with people that actually want to relocate to the USA through visa, through study visa, right? Through studies generally, and some they don't even have money for masters. So you getting the opportunity to skip masters to study PhD, that would be something people will be interested in. Even I personally, it's something I would want to grab, right? So I want everyone to stay tuned while we start this conversation. And please, if you have any questions, kindly wait till the end of the program before you ask your question. Just wait till the end of the program before you ask any question, because I'm very sure that you're going to get lots of benefits via this conversation. All right, so I'll be waiting for some minutes for more people to join us before I introduce our speaker and is going to speak to us. So for anyone that will still watch this video, make sure that you comment, you post your questions under the comment section, and if we can do a video about that and answer if you are going to do that. But I wish everyone will be online now so that you can ask your questions, and then we move to other topics that I have in store for you guys. So if you want to relocate abroad via visa study, or you are thinking of how to do it, this is the best time to be online. Kindly share the link with your friends that might need, this information, or any of your friends that are even planning to do masters but they don't know how to go about. Just tell them that hey, you can have a PhD scholarship without doing masters. You can even skip the masters part and just jump to PhD. That's something everybody will like. So um, let's wait for a few minutes, and please invite your friends to join. So I think we are going to start now, and maybe people will join us or watch later because we don't have much time to to spend. So I'm going to invite our speaker now. Coming. All right, so I'll be inviting Mr. Timileyin Ayelagbe. He's a PhD scholar of University of Michigan, USA. Okay, so the reason why I had to fast track this session is because there is another application is going to be starting soon, which is going to be around August, September, or October. But it's better for people to have the information now so that they can start preparing towards that time. And that's why I had to invite him. He has gotten the scholarship, but he'll be traveling abroad next month. He'll be traveling to the country next month. But I had to just invite him to do this so that people can apply before then, because by the time he gets there, he may not even have opportunity and all that. And I'll also be inviting the second person that is a beneficiary of the PhD scholarship next month. So this first session is coming this time because I want people to do the needful. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday. Long time.
How is everything?
Fine, 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 fine.
Wow, that's nice. Thanks for taking your time to be here. Hope I did not stress you.
No, no, no,
Hope I did not use so much of your time.
no, no. Today is weekend.
What did you say?
Said today is the weekend, so there's no work today. Church and resting.
I'm very sure they will watch it because a lot of people are eager. Some even subscribe to my YouTube channel for this session. So I don't know what's happening, but anyway, we move because this thing is going to help even later in the future. So it's not just about now. There are people
Yeah.
that will still watch it and they will still need it later in the future. Because
Okay.
for someone like me, the day you told me about the PhD scholarship, I did not believe it because a lot of people did not know, including me. So when you told me that, I was like, is this thing real? So another person got PhD scholarship again, and the guy is also traveling next month. So I was not like, this thing is real. Oh. It was even you that made me to know that the thing is real because I used to hear it before, but it's not on like knowing someone that has gotten it. So when you now told, I was like, no, this is something people need to know. So thank
Yeah.
you for gracing this event. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's just start because I want us to finish on time so everybody
Okay.
can do their different things. So, how is family? Let me
Fine.
ask because you're a
Fine. Fine.
family
Fine.
man now.
Fine. Fine.
How is
Fine.
family?
Fine. Thank you. Fine. Wonderful. Marriage
All
is
right,
sweet.
all right. That's yeah. Well, marriage is sweet to my brother. Marriage is sweet. All right, so let's just jump into it, right? So, how did you get the information about the PhD scholarship? I'm just eager to know. For some people, they just want to do masters. A lot of people are spending so much money on masters, but they don't know that they can skip masters and do PhD. So, how did you get the information? How did your journey start? And I'm just curious to know.
Okay, thank you. My journey started when I met with some certain foreigners that came for research in Nigeria, and some of my colleagues in my department in the University of Ibadan. I've heard some of my colleagues had scholarships going outside, and but I did not even have a clear clarity about how they went about it. But I worked with certain foreigners, which they told me that, oh, if you are interested in this, there are opportunities in the US that you can easily get all of this. So that's stirred my interest, and knowing fully well that the kind of field I am, it is uh, it is very uh, honorable outside the country, but in the country it is very dishonorable until recently, until a company like the one where I work with now started. So that spurred me to start looking, and so the foreigner and the Nigerian that's been working there is a researcher, Professor Gudino. He comes home to do his research. He told me about all these processes and how it's easy. And looking at one or two of my colleagues that have gone. So I messaged them and told them, how did you do this? So they gave me information, and I also went back to Twitter to go and check if this is true. I went to LinkedIn to check if this is true. And when I checked and I saw that, oh, some Nigerians are saying this is true, some foreigners are saying it's true, then the journey started. That was, I first learned about this during the COVID-19 2020, but I didn't take it serious. I just did a little
Wow.
bit check and left it.
Mm.
Because during that COVID-19, I had a brother, a friend who got the scholarship, but because of COVID-19, he could not travel. And so he was getting paid in Nigeria. He was getting paid his stipends in Nigeria, and he was living the life he's supposed to be living there in Nigeria. I don't know if you understand what that means. Getting paid in dollars and
I didn't
living.
get that part.
He was in Nigeria. COVID-19 could not make him travel,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
he was getting paid for being a student in the US
It was getting paid while in Nigeria.
while in Nigeria. I don't know if you understand how rich that could be. Was getting paid in dollars as a
Ah.
way he should be living in the US, but he was living in Nigeria. So I
Okay,
don't
because
know.
of COVID, he could not travel and he was getting paid while
Yeah,
he's doing the studies in Nigeria.
yes, because of COVID-19. So
Wow.
that's further look like me like you know,
Or maybe
the,
you are even looking for a job there.
yes, I was actually jobless there. I was only going from my kind of work is field work. I was going from one field work to the other, trying to get earn one or two things. It's like having your a professor's salary, a or a PhD holder salary in Nigeria. Their 1 year salary, collecting it in a month. You know, it's so the interest came. I did so a little bit of research into it, but I didn't know fully. I thought it's going to cost a lot of money. Passport, all of this. I dropped it until I took it serious last year. So, what made me take it? I took it serious when I knew that this was possible. 2021, some of my friends also applied. They left again. One or two. This thing is serious, so it's looking real low. But in the year 2023, last year, I finished my master's in the University of Ibadan. Although it was not needed for this scholarship I got because it was not considered. Last year in the University of Ibadan, some of my junior colleagues, undergraduates that I supervised during their field work as a master's student, also got this same scholarship and left. So what I did was I had to call them and tell them that, oh, yes, they're my junior colleague, but what did you do? If you can go without, in fact, they've not
Master.
even finished, they've not convocated. So I asked them, what did you do? And they told me and put me through. And I did everything they told me, and I was getting in touch, spoke with them, and they put me through the
Okay, so
process.
you started the application last year.
Yes. If you for most courses, because United States have different resumption dates. They have the fall, the winter, like those that we
Summer.
resume, and some yes, those that we resume around June, July. Those that will resume around August, and those that will resume around January. But what I
Okay.
found out that most scholarship for PhDs resumes, most, not all, most resumes around August. So one of the
Okay.
things, but these are later considerations. These are not the first things to consider. Anyway, because whether you are resuming August, September, or you are resuming June or July of January, I don't think it's consequential. The main thing is your career is moving forward. You are resuming.
Okay,
So
but I think international students, they mostly accept international students during that July, August. I think that January is mostly for people in that country. I'm not sure. I'm just
no,
saying.
no, no, no,
I'm
no.
just saying.
I have friends that are resuming January, February. So it depends on the kind of program. That's why I said these are not the main consideration. I think the consideration should be why you want to do a PhD, what you want to do, how to get access to them, how not to be rejected, and how this is possible for the common man. Because it is believed, I'm not trying to spoil, you know, visa racketeers work, but it is believed that to get all of these things, it requires millions. I don't know if you get my point, but the truth is, it's not that it requires millions if you know what you are looking for from the onset. I don't know if I can just continue with the flow right now. Can you hear me clearly?
Hey, sorry. Yes, I can
Can
hear
you?
you.
Okay. I think the first thing to do is ask yourself what
All right. So
PhD.
okay, I just want to quickly ask this: that is it all? I'm very sure that there will be specific school that accept this kind of scholar that does this kind of scholarship, or is it all the universities in the USA that does this kind of scholarship that they accept? They give people PhD scholarship without masters. Is it every school in USA, or there are some specific schools that people should look out for?
No, that's where I'm going to.
All right, all
You,
right.
it's not really all schools, and it's all schools because not all schools actually offer a doctoral program.
But can you just list out some schools that like maybe some schools and some courses
Ha, you see,
that
schools in the United States is like water. They're in their hundreds. Okay, so that is what. But I will list some that I know, those that I try to apply to. But if I tell you my full story, I applied to one actually, but I had opportunity to apply to 11. But I applied to one. I applied to University of Michigan. There's Northwestern University. There's University of Chicago. There's University. There's Alice Madison University. Lot of them. There are hundreds. But this, you see, starting from
I
that
learned
way,
that the research is a work on its own.
it's work. That's why
I
we
learned
are
that
being
making
we are being
research is a
paid.
work on.
Yes, like my program, I'm being paid as my first year. My school is kind of an elite school, so they treat students specially. For my first year, I'm just being paid. I'm going to be paid stipend. I'm not going to do anything for the school as a payback, which is very rare, and it's a merit award anyway. But from the second year, I'm paid for doing research and for teaching their students. So it's a work. Being a research student is a work. So you are being paid for the work you are being rendered. But that is not where it starts from. Where it starts from is you first having a clear idea of what you want to do. If you have a clear idea of
The
what you want,
studies,
yes, maybe a course,
the
a line of study.
course, like, yeah.
So once you have a clear idea of what you want to do, the next thing to do is you go to uh, Twitter, go to LinkedIn, you go to Google, the best corporate social media that you are most acquainted with, and you follow the right kind of people in that line.
Like those people that have gotten the scholarships, beneficiaries, right?
You can follow beneficiaries, but not necessarily beneficiaries. When, for example, let me use my case as an example. I'm an anthropologist, an archaeologist. I went to Twitter. My research focus. I searched for those words on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I started following and connecting with those people. Naturally, the algorithm of this social media will start bringing things that relates to the kind of people I'm following and liking their comments. So when there are opportunities in all these
Hmm.
schools, I keep seeing them
How
on my
social media. Hmm.
yes, I keep seeing them on my Twitter feed. This is for somebody that really do not want to spend extravagantly on to pursue this thing. You are is for somebody that is not in quote desperate. You are comfortable where you are, but you want more. So it gives you, if you go in with a desperation, you might fall into praise of hands of people that are wrong. But if you do it with a calm mind, you find out that you'll be able to go after these people. When you start seeing position, oh, doctoral position in this, these are the real people that will have good information through their names. Then what I did after getting their names and their schools, then I'll now go to the website of the schools. Unlike most Nigerian universities, universities over there, their websites are very okay. They're going to show you the name of their faculty, that's their lecturers. They call them lecturers. You check the names of their faculty, you now look at, you click on the names. It could be tedious, but for if you have somebody in your field that has gone ahead, they can give you names. That is why you can also follow people that have gotten that scholarship in your area of specialization. But for me, I have names, but still, I feel like, oh, most of them are already in that school. Do they want three Nigerian students doing doctoral program in their school when they also have indigens? So my decision was to, okay, let me find a path for myself using what they've
Wow.
taught. So what I did was I will go to the university website, I will search, I will check the names, I will look at the ones that are doing things that are related to what I want to do. So I'll write out the email of that professor and what that professor is doing that relates to what I am doing. I will tell you that I did this for about, it might look scary for about 80 professors. It looks like it's a big number, but it's not big because what I was doing, I started early anyway. I started around June, but it's not too late. What I was doing, maybe in a day, I'll start out for four. The next day, another two. I may not search it again for the next 3, 5 days. I start another five. Some night I can do seven. By the time you pick all of this together, you find out that you have a number. I was doing this because I wanted to have options. I don't want to be boxed in a corner. I wanted to have the best option. So after getting this done, you get the name of these people. As you are getting their names, you look at the area of specialization, what they have been doing over the years and recent thing. Then you send them a cold email. See, the case of whether they give scholarship, whether they give full funding has not yet come into place. I'm still trying to search out those prospective supervisors that will supervise me.
Yeah, yeah. About that supervisor and chatting, sending mails to the supervisor in charge. Is that not what you
Mhm.
are saying? The
Yes,
supervisor in charge.
yes,
Somebody's already told me that there's this man in USA that I know. The man was like, it's not even about the school or applying. Go and chat up the supervisors that are in charge of those
yes,
courses. Like you can just reach out to them, and some of them can even give you recommendation and all that.
yes,
So
yes.
I just
That's
want
the
to jump into
yeah.
that part.
That's
Continue.
the that's the ideal thing. So when you get them, you send them a cold email. And a cold email, you have to understand how to write a cold email. You can meet people that write cold email. People, I'm sure it's part of something you know. So people can you can explain it. People that know how to write it, let them teach you, or talk to people that know how to do it. Just make sure that you are not sending an email that is stupid. Don't let your first they say first impression last long. Let it be a cold email. I I don't know how to use the words to use. Let it be the right thing, not a hot email. Don't be too proud and don't be too humble. Show who you are, what you've got, and sell yourself well. And for example, the general idea, because it's a research program, doctoral program, is that you tell them, this I'm interested in your doctoral program of your school. This is my research interest, and that your research interest that you are saying must align with what the person you are sending it is. The person, example, must not. Let's use mathematics. I'm not a mathematician. Maybe the person is interested in algebra. What the person has been doing according to the is algebra. Then you bring, oh, I'm interested in simultaneous equation. Like, I don't know. Don't go out of what the person is doing, and be sure that you know what it is. Although Nigerians have a way of trying to fine tune what they want to do to what the person wants to do. Nigerians, they try and say
Yeah.
that. And you end it with stuff like, I have gone through your research and I see that it aligns with mine. If the person has written a book, try and search out the PDF of those books. So you can put it there. I've gone through your latest book or your latest publication. Some of people reach no more than 3 pages or 4 pages. And your interest in this and this, it's a major interest to me. It makes I'll be honored if you can uh,
People
supervise.
follow generic kind of templates, but the white
No,
people, they are not after generic templates.
no.
They
That's why I said you
actually
have
want
to.
to know that you've done your information and research.
Yes, that's why
That's
the
what they
book.
want. But people
Yeah,
just go and do generic this
no,
thing, normal
it won't
template.
work.
So
It won't work
that
for
thing
all
doesn't
the
really.
professors later. Out of all the about 80 that I checked out their names, I sent cold email to about 60. And of all the 60 that I sent cold email, I hardly send the same exact cold emails to two persons. Yes, the part there's a part that always look the same, the part that talks about my experience, but I will try and fine tune that experience to look more like what the professor is doing, because it might not be exact the same thing. We don't have the same facility as they have in the US. So there are certain things that they've moved out of and research wise. That is what we are just doing in Nigeria. So you might not be able to get exact thing because they are ahead of us. So you just have to be able to fine tune what you are doing to it. Then you send the email to them. So after sending emails to several people, cold email, attaching your CV, academic CV, showing what you've done. And before you start sending cold email anyway, or you start searching, if people have not done this, they have to do this. Try and make sure that your CV is not, how will I put it? Your CV is not.
I can wait. Sorry to cut.
Hello? I can hear you. Hello? Hello?
Hello, hello. I
Yes,
just
I
want
can
to
hear you.
cut in before
You
you go
said,
into the. Yeah, I want to say something before you go into the necessary documents that they will need, because I feel that you're already going into that. So for those that are just joining, I just want
okay.
to say this. For those that are just joining, if you have questions, kindly drop it. But we are going to answer your question at the end of the session. So what we're actually discussing is how you can land PhD scholarships even if you don't have a master's degree. So these days, people are getting PhD scholarships even without doing masters. So people are seeing the easier means to to just bypass masters just to do PhD degree. And there are some universities in USA that offers this kind of scholarship, and that is why we are having this session. Okay. Olani Ojumoke, you are welcome. She asked that what's the name of the scholarship. This is there is no particular name. This is how you can get PhD scholarship even without doing masters. So if you are following what he's saying, he's telling us how we can do this research, how you can niche down. If you maybe you want to choose a particular course, you have to go to that, let's say maybe algebra, something algebra. So you have to do your research. Like it's just like niching down to what you actually want. So that is what we are talking about here. So if you have any questions, you can just drop it, but your questions will be answered after the session. Okay. Sorry to cut in, and okay, so let's go into the requirements. I know you started, but yeah, you can continue. The requirements that is
Okay.
needed, because a lot of people feel that they need to go and meet a company to help them do all those things. But I do tell people that it's something that they can undo on their own. They can do this thing but by themselves. You just need to follow the process. There will be time you need to submit your SOP, you need to submit your CV, you need to submit your transcript and all that. If people can just follow this process, it's something they can actually do by themselves. So we can
Okay.
continue.
Okay. Yeah, you have to have your CV, but in that CV, you have to, whatever research area you want to do, if you don't have experience in it, it will not fly. So rather than maybe the particular candidate is in quote jobless, rather than staying at home doing nothing. Why it's will be best to even volunteer in a field that it's related to what you are doing. Ensure that your CV is thick. It's in the US format. You know, you have US format of that's why you have to talk to people that know how to write CV.
Yeah,
If you don't know
you
how
have
to,
UK format. Yeah,
yes, you have the UK format, you have the US format. Don't go and submit UK format to the US
yeah,
and think that it will fly. The person is not trained
yeah,
to see the format that way. He's trained to see format the way he or she knows. So if you are doing the wrong thing, the person might just throw this thing away. And I liked research. You know, there's and understand that there's difference between academic CV and
yes. The
work CV.
academic CV, there's work CV. Yeah,
Yeah, so you have to submit an academic CV that aligns with the United States. Although United States and Canada,
they
because
are
I tried,
closely related.
yes, I tried Canada too, but I ended up not submitting to Canada, and I'll give the reason why. But they have this almost similar uh,
Yeah,
things.
yeah, they are very similar. Yes.
Yeah. The reason why I did not try Canada was because I found out. I don't know how true it is, but the schools I ended up trying to check into, and the professors I spoke to in Canada, they are in Canada top school like University of Toronto. They are the top schools. I don't know how I find myself just picking top schools anyway.
Yeah, that's
I find
British
that
Columbia.
unlike,
Those ones are.
yes, unlike in the US, I think Canada considers more of your degree of graduation more than the US. And after speaking with the professors without telling them my transcript, then after rolling for a while, I'm jumping a step, but I think it's necessary. After rolling a while with them, then it will get to send your transcripts, your undergraduate
Yes,
transcript. By the time I send my undergraduate transcripts, it'll be like,
you wait.
oh, you have good prospect, but these transcripts will not fly. Like you have to have like a first
Canada is
class,
actually tough,
a, a very top degree for the scholarship. Not that you will not get admission another way, but the kind of thing I'm
and
looking
it
for.
takes time. Yeah,
Yes, you're asking
that
for.
takes time.
Whereas I finished with a 3.47 over 5, my undergraduate. You know, so I knew that that was a no. But all this, my school currently, University of Michigan, is the 23rd in the world. It's 23rd in the world, and I gained admission with that 3.47 out of 5, which is a 2.2 in Nigeria standard,
Hmm. Wow.
into that
So for those that
university.
have two, share you see. For those
It's
people that have two,
I'm not.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not that I'm proud of the 2.2 because
I know, but it has
I'm
happened
just
now.
I'm no because you might have undergraduate students watching. That's why I had to say that. My
Hmm.
just for undergraduate students, my third, fourth, and fifth year, I had first class results. For my first 2 year was a whack. So I'm not saying people should not.
Yeah, me too. I'm not buying that because I have a friend that actually finished with first class and she got scholarship to Canada straight away. So
So
it's the stress is less when you have
it could
good
be
grades.
less.
So it's not as if we are encouraging.
Yes, yeah. I just had to, but not to discourage people like me that
Yeah, yeah.
made error early in life. That the error can be corrected with hard work. So back to
Okay.
what we were discussing. The You get your CV and the right CV, and you might want to. It's not necessary because most people do not consider it in the US. You might want because you don't need a proposal. It's in the UK, Europe that you need to write a proposal before when you are applying for PhD. In the US, you don't need to write a proposal. So it's really your CV that is well cooked up. Know what you want and send all these code emails out. The first thing you need is your CV. Then you start expecting replies. Some of these professors will not reply. Out of those 60, not all replied, but majority of them will reply. Some of them will reply and will be like, "Oh, you have a wonderful degree, you have blah blah," but I'm
But they say
sorry.
there's no opportunity.
Yeah, some might say that this is not the kind of student they want. They don't want a student from Africa. Some will say that they don't have opportunity to take student
And they
research
say it politely. The way they say it is
politely.
very polite. Yeah.
Politely.
They reject it
I did not get
politely.
I did not get an unpolite response. It was a culture shock for me. Even not they always say it politely. And some of them will tell you that, oh, this your line is interest. They will give you suggestion of other professors. And even we even send mail to those professors, copying you, like introducing you to these professors. So it's not, in most cases, it's not a waste of time talking with these people. Then out of this, some people will say, oh, I want you. They will invite you to a call. After
Yeah, and some
inviting
can
you,
even refer you to another professor that
yes,
can help.
yes, they will refer you to other professors and even put their integrity on the line after speaking with you, seeing that you have prospects. That's why you have to know what you are doing and be serious about it. And when you speak with these professors, you explain what you are doing, and they will tell you. But when you are doing these meetings, maybe Zoom, Teams, whatever platform, it is your duty to be able to ask them questions that will trigger them to say things that you need to know, and that will show that you are vast in that area, because
Yeah.
they want to know. And every field have their own jargons. But something I noticed about my own field, especially field that has a lot of practicals and field work too, is that students over there, undergraduate students over there, do not have experience, opportunity to have all of this experience, like field work, lab experience, and all this. All of these things, like we do, our IT in Nigeria is a blessing. That IT
Mm.
that they force us to go and do for 6 months.
IT, yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
one of the advantages.
Some
So you
can
have to
even
know,
emphasize it.
yes,
Yes.
you have
Yeah.
to know how to put that IT in a very sweet format in your CV to showcase, link it to that, how will I put it? Link it to that area of focus, that area of research you're doing. One area that we stand out from their students, for example, my field is that I have a lot of field experience, what they call experience, but we call it field experience because of the nature of my line, what we call field experience than their students. For example, in my cohorts, now in this year cohort, about 13 students were admitted for PhD. The list has about 3.75 out of 4 after conversion. When I converted my own, the list person, there are about 3 or 4 persons that had 4/4. I was the one that
Wow.
had, when I converted my own, it ended up to be 3.25. So but you have other areas where you can, in the place of God, it's not that you can do it. Yeah, God, favor and grace. We shouldn't forget that. So you do that and send the cold email out. Talk to the professors, and the professors will tell you, oh, apply. Oh, uh, politely, maybe you should wait till next year. Once they are telling you maybe you should wait till next year, most likely when you apply to that school, they will not pick you. So the person is already telling you, don't waste your time. So you see, after the 80 trim to 60, people that responded to me and gave me positive response, we are about 11 or 12, like prospects. But like I said, you have to know what you want. As at that time, I have started work when I entered into the admission process. I've started working where I work now, and God has been faithful. The pay is good, so I had some money to do some things. But still, I was just battling from some uh, debt, and so money was not with me. I was in a bad. I didn't want to spend money for any admission stuff. I didn't want to pay application fee. I
Hmm.
don't want
This
GRE.
guy. Oh.
I don't want GRE. I don't want IETS. All of these things are there that people pay for.
Okay, so you didn't do any IELTS, any GRE, because I
I
feel USA accept GRE mostly. So you didn't do GRE,
I
no
I don't
IELTS
have any,
exam.
I don't have any of that. I don't have any of that. That's why
Imagine.
that's why I
Wow.
said start early. Anybody that want to travel next year, I want to use this method. After this call, should just start up. Don't waste time. Start your search. That's why as I started early, I was able to have a lot of prospects. So out of those prospects, the 11 I said, they were more than 11, no, but the people I thought, in my own wisdom,
Wow.
looked like they are the most relevant. Some people said yes, but it's not good yes. So I did not count them at those 11. And people should learn to ask questions. I asked them questions over and over again. Some people say that I talk like a lady because I ask too much questions. Yes, sometimes it's needed in this case. Ask question and ask question. Let them, the worst they can tell you is a no. They will not flag you and tell you that no university in the United States can never take you again. They won't do that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so 11 out of those 11, and I started asking questions and I went to their website. If you start from their website, you might be discouraged because sometimes the information on our website is not updated. Things,
Yes,
things
yes,
might have
yes.
changed.
That's true.
And the place where the right person will be, you will overlook it. As I said
Mm.
when we started, that it's not really about the university first, but about having somebody that's interested in you. Everything in life is politics. You have to have somebody that will speak for you. First, get the person that wants to speak for you, somebody that is interested in your research before, and that's the essence of the code email and talking to the professors. So I check the schools. Who are those that require IETS, GRE, TOEFL, and all of that? When I see these ones, I'll say, "Oh, you." Obviously, I'm not ready to write any exams. I'm not ready to study for any exams. I message the supervisors. I said, "Oh, I'm Nigerian. I was taught in English from my primary school. I believe that
Yeah,
I'm
I
proficient."
feel sorry to cut in. I have a friend that is currently studying in USA. She said she went to she we both studied in the University of Ilorin. So you can just go to your school to ask for this certification for English. Like there's this certificate that they can
Yes,
give you instead of going for I don't know about other schools though, but if you go to University of Ilorin, I the girl told me that when she went to the school, they gave her this certificate, like just to prove that she understands English or she can speak English, and it's
yes,
free in most
yes.
schools.
I
So
know of University
just
of Ilorin, FUTA, UI, OAU. I know of those schools because I have friends that, my first degree was in FUTA. I have friends from all these schools that did the same thing. But in fact, for me, I don't even present that.
wow.
That's why I said,
Modi
ask,
Grace.
ask, ask questions. So I asked question. I asked them, I don't have this. I was taught in English. Some of them will tell you that, oh, you can talk to your school, just like you said, to give you proof of English, of proficiency in English, just like your friend did. But s- for one reason or the other, I was just removing them, maybe TOEFL, IETS. But for some field, I learned, for example, for some field, GRE is important. For I think fields
Yeah,
like
yeah, sure.
computing, programming, they might not be able to waive it. But just make sure that you make your informed decision.
We should not rely on the website information
Yes,
alone.
ask. And if they tell you that it is necessary, if your field is such field that it will be impossible to get all of those things without a GRE, then you have to go for GRE. I'm not saying that everybody should say that they will not do GRE, TOEFL, they will not do anything. If your field requires it, although my field is a cognitive, you have to think a lot, so it should require things like GRE, but
Sure.
still, it was waived. So I had, so after doing all of this, and one more thing that I did not want to do, I did not want to pay application fee. Application fee
You don't want to be
is
at you don't
I'm
want to
not
be
in Jebu.
application.
I'm not in Jebu. Yeah, I didn't want to
I
pay.
understand. I
What
understand.
what everybody wants. I'm saying all of this just so that people can know the options they have.
Mm.
If if at the end of the day I am left with the option that I have to pay GRE, I will have done that. Or I have to pay TOEFL, I have to do any of this, I will have done it. But I gave myself enough room to be able to say no, I don't want, or I want this. If you can't go the length of having options, just do it and get it done with. But the truth is, there is a way of avoiding all
Is
of
there a way
this.
that wants to do GRE? So let's not even. Yeah, it's not everybody that wants to do the, it's not everybody that can afford the money, it's not everybody that can sit down to study.
So so
That's
so
just
everybody have it their own options of
yeah.
routes. Yes. So in my own opinion, I asked all these schools, which I trimmed it into three, which was University of Michigan, Northwestern University, and Syracuse University. Out of these three, I asked, okay, which one will give me application fee waiver and everything. The 30%, yeah, my contact in three schools said, University of Michigan said that I should apply for what is called application fee waiver. They will give you options on the website. Told me how to apply. Okay, I applied. Northwestern to asked me to apply for application fee waiver. Syracuse said there's no application fee waiver. So although I wrote SOP for it, I never submitted. Northwestern, I applied. The they have what are they calling it? Graduate coordinator told me that I did not qualify for application fee waiver. University of Michigan,
Wow.
application fee waiver granted. So I applied to University of Michigan. I would have applied with the three anyway, but at that time in my life, I was quite comfortable in Nigeria. So, so I was applying prayerfully and expectantly, but with also the position of, well, if it work, glory to God. If it does not work, glory to God. That's what I'm saying, that I did it that way does not mean that it's the right, it's the only way, not that it is the wrong way. You can decide to pay for all of this if that is just what you want to go. If you ask me now today that if I'm to reapply, what will I do? I will pay, because currently now I want out of the country. So so then I was still hoping that, oh, election is coming. When our election has come, election has gone. I want out. That's my personal opinion. So it's not a bad thing to. And I applied to University of Michigan. Then this is where it becomes dicey. What speaks for you now is your SOP, your personal statement, and your recommendation, and ultimately God's grace.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah,
Very
that's
important.
ultimately. So uh, let me start with recommendation. The truth is, a lot of our professors in Nigeria, when I mean professors, I don't mean people call professors alone, lecturers generally, whether doctor, whether Mr., whether professor, as we call it in Nigeria, a lot of them do not know how to write recommendation for US universities. Yes,
Mm.
not all. I said a lot. So meeting the wrong person to write recommendation, it's already giving you a minus mark. I learned this from because I was able to work from 2020. I was able to work with professors working in the US doing research in Nigeria. So these are part of my backbones. So and I was working not to get paid, although I get some stipends from them, but it was really more to get knowledge. That's why I say that whether, and it's not just professors that can write recommendation anyway. Uh, Rather than sitting down at home doing nothing, if you know you don't have experience, go out and meet people that matter. Even though it's
Exactly.
even though it's
Even
to
his
work
volunteering
for free, yes,
internship.
it was like a volunteering work. At times I will go for a whole month inside the bush, no network, but I knew, and that was part of what landed me the job I am doing now. So it's just life generally, being around research and like. So what I learned is that somebody that will write, not that will write three-line recommendation. There's a way they write recommendation for US. If you are close to your person that wants to write recommendation for you, if it's somebody, a professor that is close to you, that you can talk to like father to son, ask if it's something they are conversant with. If it's not something they are conversant with, meet with people that have done it, that have a copy of such recommendation. If it's not confidential, if because it could be confidential, so that you can help your professor to write the right thing. Or
I
and
think I think somebody can also write it for them, just and tell them to sign. Because most professors, they will even prefer you do the writing and they will just sign.
Yes, and in doing the writing, you also have to know how to write it
Oh,
because
okay. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yes.
it goes a long. That's why I said that if you know somebody that have written, and most people that know how to write it are people that have gone outside before, that know the writing skill in the US.
Because I've helped many people to write that letter of recommendation. So they just tell me to leave the space for signature so that they can forward it to
Yes. So
their
you have to,
whatever.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, people. So you have to meet people that know how to write it. Don't just say, prof, I've sent you the link, oh, to submit it. Ensure that the prof that you are sending link to is sending the right recommendation. Not that this prof doesn't want to recommend you well, but I know that the prof is not good, but the style, Nigerian style is different from
Yeah,
US.
yeah.
So you can just meet somebody that knows how to write it, get it and send it to them and let them review. If they want to review, the person wants to review. In case some people, some people can lie and say that I finished the, with the first class, whereas they finished with the two. So in my own case, a Nigerian that works in the US, a professor that works in the US, wrote for me. A US citizen that work in Nigeria wrote for me, and and my supervisor in Nigeria wrote for me. So, and I believe God used them for me to be able to write to get this thing done. And your SOP and personal statement, that is the real thing. Uh, where I work with, we had a discussion with my supervisor where I currently work, and on the possibility of now I'm leaving them. They're trying to look. And while speaking with supervisor, my supervisor told them something that the real thing they consider after all the politics is SOP. That once the SOP flops, so I was able to get that from information from her. Once the SOP flops,
Mm.
it's very difficult. Although, like I said before, these things have politics in them. And as long as have politics in it, you as a Christian, sorry, let me put this in. As a Christian, you have an edge because your father has the mind of everybody. You can tell them any way he wants, but yet,
Yeah.
but yet, it's do the right thing. Do the right thing. Faith by works, which is
Mm,
SOP.
yeah. Yes.
And
Yeah.
wait for your response. I might have jumped some one or two things, maybe through questions. Maybe I'll be able to see them.
No problem.
So that was the process. I submitted, and one more thing, I did not submit at a rush. My SOP. Those my junior colleagues that I said went ahead of me, that are finishing their first year now. I sent my SOP, my CV. I sent it to them. Look at it, help me review them. I was able to finish my SOP on time. I finished my SOP around maybe mid-September or early October. Deadline for submission for the schools I was applying to was 1st of December, which,
So
which
no
happened.
need to rush.
Yeah, I submitted on that day, on 1st of December. Some schools, their deadline is January 1st. I sent it to professors, to colleagues, to junior colleagues that have gone ahead of me because obviously they're already ahead of me. They were my junior. So I sent it to all of those people, and they all brought in their useful ideas. See, these people are already there. They know how it is. Edited it and edited it. I used uh,
Grammar.
Turnitin, use Grammarly, ensure that what I was writing, I was not plagiarizing anybody. And that's another
And
mistake people do.
and they have this they have their own American English.
Yes.
They have their
Yes. You
own
have to make
American
sure that
English. UK
they are
use
using
British
American
English.
English.
They use American English. So someone must
Yes.
also take note of that. Yeah.
And don't plagiarize because there are a lot of
Yeah.
SOPs on
Uh
Twitter, hundreds of SOPs
everywhere.
on Twitter.
Everywhere.
There.
Everywhere.
You find it so some people just go and just be removing name, putting name
Copy, copy.
and copy. It does not work. Understand how it works. I think because if we want to go into how, because the professor from the US, uh, she'll be glad if I mention her name. I don't know, but she's like a mentor to me. She explained how to write an SOP for me. It's not something that we can easily go through in this call, but you have to learn how to write an SOP or get somebody that knows how to write an SOP and ensure that Even though you are getting somebody that knows how to write an SOP, you pour out your true arts to the person.
Your
So that,
activities, how you
yes,
started, like everything, what you
everything,
have done
what everything, so that what you are telling the professor during your meeting
when
after
they
your coding
interview.
eh, will be the same thing as what is
Yeah.
inside the SOP. And that's what some schools also request for personal statement. And it will be
Yes,
the same thing as what's in your personal statement. And it will align with your CV and things that you can defend.
exactly, exactly.
So it's either you know how to do it yourself or you know how to really, truly pour out your mind.
Yes,
I
yes.
heard of a case of someone, and it's a true life story, on academic Twitter, that got admission into the university in the US, got to the US, eh, resumed, and his admission was revoked.
Wow.
Why? They found that he plagiarized SOP, and his admission, and he was deported down back to Nigeria. So let us avoid.
But how is ordinary?
Yes, yes, it's not ordinary, but still,
No, because there are a lot of people that plagiarize SOP and they God help them, sha. But me, I personally believe that everybody has a story. You can
yeah,
always tell about what you have done, your
yeah.
activity. You don't need to even plagiarize anything. You
You
have
don't need to
everything.
like, as
Just
long as you
follow
have
what
your.
you have done and everything. And
I went to Futa. Somebody that did not go to Futa should not come and say that I went to Futa. So I don't know why you are plagiarizing in the first place. It's out of, in my own, it's out of laziness and how will I put it? Laziness and indiscipline. If you cannot do the
yeah,
work yourself, get somebody that can do it. You have to be able to do one of the two. It's life.
if you don't need, me, I believe that you don't even need to do any plagiarism. You have your story. Like everybody have their own story. The
So
experiences you get, the skills you've learned, how you can even measure leadership in school.
yes,
There are different
all
things that
these
you can
things.
just so you don't even need
And
to
one
copy.
more thing, one more thing in writing the SOP. One more thing, writing the SOP. You have to go to the university website. I learned that from those people.
Yeah, about the
Look at,
cost.
write about how the university and the department is going to help your career.
Yeah,
For example, in my SOP, I wrote things like, uh, after talking about how this my supervisor, I want to work with her and how she's going to help my career to be. I said, oh, I also wrote things like the work of Professor this and that on this. I will be able to learn of Professor this and that, and the
yeah,
department's laboratory of this and this are things that inspire and it's going to help build my career and things like that. And showcase that you want to come back home. Showcase
yeah, yes,
showcase that
yes,
you are coming back home, not just to come back home and come and sit, to come and develop that field in your country,
yeah,
and say it with, even though you might be dishonest, say it with all honesty. And I think, don't put element of dishonesty in it. Try and say it with all honesty. And
yeah.
I believe
And
that will.
I also think that even though in talking about you coming home, you have to tell them the short term goals and the long term goals. Because some people will be like, when I get to my country, I'll go and build Nigeria or something. You have to start with the short term goals that maybe
Yes,
you are planning to work with an organization that is doing something that you are doing. Then in the future, you plan to have an organization or you plan to start a movement
yes.
that solves that problem. But you can't
Or
just jump into the long term goals.
or you can put that because PhDs are for academics anyway.
Yeah,
That's the
PhD,
point.
yeah, PhD is for
And
academic.
masters. You can put that you want to help develop that sector academically in Nigeria. For example, one of my sellout was my area of interest of we have limited ants in it in Nigeria. I can count people that are doing it on just one of
It's
my hands.
actually rare, rare
Yes, I
looking
can
for
count
bones,
people that are doing my specialization on my
researching
hands.
dead people bones.
So, so among those that are researching dead people, mine is now, you have to have this PhD. It's not masters. It's not undergraduate.
Hmm,
You still have specialization in it.
you
So
need
I am
again.
environmental archaeologist. So environmental archaeologists are now even scarce, especially uh, botanical environmental archaeologist. So I was able to tell, I wrote there that I'll be coming home to develop this sector
I'll
of
remind you after
eh?
PhD. I will
Okay,
remind
okay.
you after PhD.
We'll develop it. We'll develop it. We'll develop it. It will not die. It's not die. So you have to put that. And one thing again that people used to have issues with, I know you'll be proud now. You'll be proud of. I don't know. I don't know what your school is. You'll be proud of Ilorin now. Maybe. So there are schools that their transcripts is L to get. I don't know if Ilorin is like that.
No,
For FUTA,
Unilearning is actually fast. Unilearning is fast. Like if you want to
for
send a transcript, you just there is just connect and collect someone's number. They will know how the WebP to send it. So you don't need to go and stress yourself.
if you know your school is those people that owns that go to that school, they know themselves. You shouldn't mention schools. If you know your school used to delay transcripts, start working on it. And
No.
something I refuse to say in the application, there are certain schools while filling the application, they ask for transcripts. Some people ask for official transcripts. Some ask for student transcripts as a placeholder. Michigan asked for student transcripts, so I didn't need to submit official transcripts. But when they now give you the admission,
You
then you
ask
now
for
send
official.
official transcripts. So, but it is best to have your student transcript at hand.
Yeah,
If the
yeah.
school you're now applying to is now asking for official transcripts, you work it. That is why you have to start early.
Everybody should have their student transcript now.
Not everybody. Oh, I don't want to start mentioning
But I don't
schools.
know, Sha. I don't know.
People in
Because
that in
my
those
school
schools,
gave us our students' transcripts.
they
My
gave me
school.
to on day of convocation.
Yeah, yeah.
It was ready. I went to collect it. So some schools in Nigeria don't. They
Ah, now.
don't let us ask them.
And the amount someone is going to pay again to collect that transcript.
Eh,
Well,
so so invariably, there are certain things that you cannot run away from. Money for transcripts, you can't run away from that.
hmm.
So, for example, for me, I was very engraced by God and privileged. From the point of application to the point that I received my offer, I did not spend one naira.
Yeah, imagine.
The only money I spent was on data
Wow.
to browse. So
So,
and I know that it was just all God all through.
oh,
So
true.
because I know people that I feel could be more qualified than me that applied to the same University of Michigan that I applied to,
And they didn't
and
get it.
I was the one picked. In fact, for my because anthropology we have section, we have archaeology, social, cultural, but for archaeology, anthropology in Michigan, this cohort, we are only two that was picked,
Wow.
and they received scores of applications. So I think it is good. So
I feel people can also look into courses that are not that popular, but is needed in yes. I feel
no,
people can still look into that
I don't know
courses.
if it's about popularity. I think it's more about is it popular? I think it's more about just being able to bring out a niche because people that applied to my field, there are scores of them. I mean, average application on the website per year for PhD is running into like 150, 200 every year. That's how they
Hmm.
receive. It's Nigeria that these courses are not popular. For example, in the UK, you cannot develop a new land without doing archaeology research. So this field outside the country can be popular, but Nigeria it might not be popular.
Yeah, I'm talking about the country anyway. I'm talking
Okay,
about that
okay,
country
about the
that you have
country.
to do
Yes, yes.
research. Yeah.
So,
So everything
but
boils down to research. So the
yes,
PhD, does it come with working or how do you how
okay,
does it work?
yeah, that's another thing. One of the reasons why I said you should look at a lot of schools. Part of the reason why I dropped out of those 11 schools, I didn't mention that earlier, was that one, some of them don't guarantee full funding.
Mm,
That's why I said if you have a lot of options, you'll be able to choose. You'll not be boxed down into choosing. Oh,
anyhow.
I have a deficit of $20,000. I have a deficit of $7,000. Where you want to see them, and then you not get to the embassy, the VO will not tell you that deny, give you blue paper.
Hmm.
Feel like you are not qualified to get a US visa because deficit is one of the main reasons why but this class is not for that. But you should consider it while choosing schools anyway. Uh, so I checked some of these schools. They don't give full funding, partial funding. Some of them they give full fund. They guarantee funding for maybe 2 years or 3 years, and PhD is minimum 5 years in the US. The average in my department, in my school is 7.5 years.
Hmm.
So imagine them guaranteeing you 2 years and
Your
funding
your PhD is 7.5 years. I didn't get
average
it.
average year of graduation. Yes, but it's
Wow.
actually
And some people are getting full funding for it.
yes now.
Wow.
The longer the longer the, the better.
The longer the better. Hey, you know what to do.
The longer
Okay.
the better now.
Longer the
Abby.
better. No problem.
So, but back back to our discussion. And some of these schools do not have funding at all. Some of them have full funding, but the city is expensive, so that the funding at the end of the day will not be truly enough.
Hmm.
I remember me. I know that I was already planning to get married. I know that wife is coming. Imagine, imagine having funding that is not even enough for me, and I have a
Hmm.
wife. Bible said that he that cannot provide for his household is worse than an infidel. You have to, even outside that, some people will tell you things like, you be Niger, you go cope. Well,
No,
uh,
it's not as easy as the way people show it on social
pe-
media. It's not
pe-
as easy. Like,
people have different strengths.
yeah, that's true.
I know the limit of my strength. So I went for a school that, for example, University of I'm not saying this that University of Michigan should not receive 1,000 applications or 20,000 from Nigeria, because Nigeria we use to face one place.
Yeah.
They don't admit students. They cannot give guarantee full funding for 5 years.
Hmm.
That's one of the advantage. Is a is a top school anyway. It's a top rank school. One of the so maybe that's why they have that kind of funding anyway. Yeah, schools that so for my own funding now. Back to your question, I had to say all of this so that you understand that it is not the same everywhere. Not all. Some schools will give you admission, no funding,
Okay.
zero funding. Go and bring your money. Those are people, and most people that get those kind of school that gives those kind of admissions are people that go through without their own knowledge, that go directly through agents. What those agents will
Yes.
just do for them,
Yeah.
what without giving them, you just give them this is my degree, go and find me any admission. Those one will do their job
They will
without
not find any
wanting to,
admission.
yes, and give them something. And you'll be seeing them looking for 30, 50,000 dollars in funding just for one
Hmm.
year. If I tell you the cost of my school fees and living expenses that I was giving, I can't see that some people not come and kidnap me. And after that, the school,
They'll still be Arab, don't worry.
eh, the school, the school still increased my funding by 50%. I don't know, 50%,
Wow.
50%. Imagine having 50% raise in Nigeria.
Hmm.
So but it comes with my first year. I'm not doing any work. The only work I have my first year is to go to class. Like their PhD there, when you first 2 years in my department, you go to class, they will teach you, you will take class like master students.
Okay.
So after my first year, so I won't be doing anything, I'll just be going to class and taking class. In my second year, then I will do GA or GI or GSSRA, like graduate assistant or something. Maybe I will work in the lab
Yeah.
or I will instruct students. Yes, in exchange for the money they are paying. But my
Okay.
first year, I do not. And this work is not like because it's part of your training. It's actually part of your training, and that is why PhD in the US is, in my own opinion, for somebody that is academic inclined like myself. Because I believe PhD in US is better than in Europe, because by the time you are graduating in the US, you already have like 3 4 years of teaching experience. Whereas in Europe,
Mm.
you don't have all those. You just do PhD there is 3 years, 3.5 years. You just do your research straight, graduate, collect your PhD. Yes, you get your PhD faster. But for me in the US, I, they're already cooking me to become a lecturer. So when I'm applying as a lecturer, I have
Very easy.
uh,
Yeah,
yes, I
that's
have
good.
yes experience. Or I'm applying for a postdoc, I have experience. Uh,
Wow.
that's that. What else? No,
Such a
different.
detailed session.
Yeah.
Do
And
you want to say
and
anything?
one more thing, and funding varies from school to school, even though it's full funding. I have colleagues also that their funding entails uh, they start teaching from the first year.
Okay.
No, me, I'm not teaching from the first year. I told you like school varies, and
Mm.
and in trying to go for schools, also look. It just I think it's the basic thing is don't put yourself in trouble by going to an expensive place without funding or going to an expensive place that has more funding, thinking that because you be Naija, you go survive.
Hmm. It's
And
not always
and
as easy as
one
it seems.
one mistake that I made that I would say I will want people not to make is if you are planning to get married or you are married, eh, get your certificates on time. I knew
Which
that I was
certificate? Which
marriage certificate,
certificate?
marriage certificate.
Is it not the normal certificate?
Like I said, if you are married or you are planning to marry,
Okay.
planning. No, I said planning. Planning. I
Okay.
knew
Okay.
last year that I was planning to marry, even though I did not know date yet. But I know that this year I will marry. If I knew, even though it's court marriage, eh,
Okay.
that's
Just to get the certificate.
that nobody will know, I will have gotten my certificate early on time because it will affect in visa processing. Why mean that by that, and ensure that yourself and your spouse have your passport. After I got my admission letter and everything, because that was after then we started processing passports for myself and my wife. My passport was expiring, and no, it's delayed as at today. Okay, okay. As at if not for that, but let's that could be
Let's leave
personal.
that. Mm-hmm.
It, it, it was after then I was processing all of that. I did not have marriage certificate. You know, Nigerian law, 21 working days of notice and all
Obviously.
of that. So I was waiting for for you now saying for they provide produce F2 visa and all of that to be able to go for it. So so just if you know what your plan is, do it on time
Mm.
and get it sorted. And don't be like me. Because a lot of my friends that I told that are already outside, they told me that what you did, although I did it from a point of faith and instruction, except for that, don't apply to one school. A lot of people knocked me, even my academic mentor knocked me
So
that
you should try different schools.
yes, but I was adamant and I refused to obey them because I was doing it from a point of instruction, which a lot of people would not understand. So I was just saying that I forgot, there's no money. I was just because now I can tell them, be like, oh, this is the reason why. If I told them, not all of them are faith people, but they are still my academic mentor.
They just discourage you.
Yes, yes. But on a general base, don't be like that. But if you have an instruction like that, hey, I'm a man of faith, so I should do
I know
whatever
you.
God tells you to do.
Man of faith.
So I think that's it.
It's good.
I hope I'm able
All
to
right. Thank you so
take
much.
what
Thank you
you
for
want to.
pouring out the details. So, is there any question before we round up?
I hope.
What did you say?
I'm trying to think about anything I did that I have not said.
Okay. So, if anybody has any question, just drop it now that is online, and I'll
I
also
think
drop his. Okay, I don't know. I will ask him later about that one. So if you have any question, you can drop it. Kindly drop your questions. But if you don't have any question,
Yeah.
then I think we can round up now. So we have talked about the requirements from your SOP, documentation, academic CV for PhD, and he also said that we should, get get work experience. It can be volunteering, it can be internship, it can just be, just doing things voluntarily. Like it doesn't have to be paid, but make sure it's just portfolio. And and I just hope everybody will just mark all these points that he has mentioned. All right. And for those of you that have not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you are watching, make sure you subscribe because there will be more valuable contents that I will be pushing out here. And also, those that are looking forward to how to write a USA CV format, you can watch out for my next video. I think last week I posted a video on how to write a UK CV format because there are different formats for different countries. And thank God he also mentioned it today because they just used one Nigerian CV. You just use it for all your applications and you just expect one miracle to happen. No, different formats for different. There are order
Mm.
and there are structure to everything. Different
And can I come in?
formats, they have structure. Yeah,
Yeah, and you mentioned something that I think is very important. Not using one CV for everything. I did not use the same CV for all of my applications because if you check, I still a little bit tuned the CV towards the perspective of the university, of the department I'm applying to in that university. There are certain things that you find out that even though schools are doing chemistry, you find that the chemistry in this particular school tends to go this way. They like volunteering. Why some people they like
more than
just academic,
working.
just work. Yes. So for somebody that just like academic and you submit a CV that has a lot of I'm in
Volunteer.
this NGO, I'm in that NGO, you're just shooting yourself. They are not they want you to and for somebody that needs they want to see that you have been involved in one NGO or one SDGs and you're not putting it there.
Yes,
You're also shooting yourself. So
exactly.
you have to make sure everything aligns.
It's really good to research that university so that you use their words, their own words, like you use their
Yes.
words against them, you use it back to them. Because there are
That's what
some
I
schools that they believe
that's
that
what I
after studying, there is provision. Yeah, there is provision for maybe work or anything. Sometimes you just put it in your SEO that one of the reasons why one of the things that you love about the university is that they provide, what they have listed under their website under that course. You just have to list it out. At least they will know that this person did research. All these white people, they want people that are smart and they have done research. They don't just want people that just want to apply. They want to know whether you've done your research and they want people that are very smart. So, and I hope that this session has really, really, given us so much understanding and knowledge about, how to get PhD fundings, even we don't have a master's degree. So thank you so much, Mr. Atimileyin.
thank
Ayelagbe,
you.
thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. Thanks for taking out,
Thank you very
of
much.
your busy schedule to do this. I'm really grateful. So, in the
Thank you
absence
very
of
much.
no question, everybody wants to go and meet their partner. We are married people and we have to go.
Yes, so thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you so much. And I hope that you'll be able to honor another invitation very soon. Maybe after you've traveled out anyway, but looking
No
forward to
problem.
another session
As
with you.
long
Thank
as
you very, very
it's
much.
not clashing. Okay, bye.
No problem. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, everyone.